We are back. It is Mahala Monday. Good morning. It is Monday, and here we are. Rhoda's here. Morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to Mahala Monday, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend, and we always get excited with Mahala Monday because today's episode, really looking forward to that. But just to remind you, of course, it is an interactive show, right? And we really look forward to your comments and questions. And I must say, when you get the comments and questions going, you know what? The show just goes, So yeah, we absolutely love that and really appreciate it, because at the end of the day, this is just, as you always say, information. There we go.
Yes, on a silver platter. So you know what? Send in those questions and the experts will be able to answer those questions. And remember that we actually do have some episodes that we have done before. So Dougal and myself has given so much information to you. You can always go and have a look at them and, just do a refresher as well.
Absolutely brilliant. So just to remind you, for your questions and comments, you send it to @Nickay Productions. Those details at the bottom of your screen right now. So what we do on Mahala Monday, we talk on entrepreneurship at times. We talk social development. We talk all of these absolutely wonderful things, really just amazing pillars. And today we want to bring you that perspective. And let's say, yes, entrepreneurship spirit.
Almost definitely.
Yeah?
I'm very much for entrepreneurs in Dougal. That's our foundation, I feel, for our country that needs to basically, and especially with COVID right now, we need entrepreneurs. We need these guys to be able to lift our country up again, because as the two of us are always saying, we cannot depend on government. So we need to make that changes. We need to make the difference within our own country.
Yeah, and it really is. And we want to address it from this perspective. But now, let's just take a step back. Whatever you're doing, you might be thinking of, you know what, I want to do, I want to have my own business, I want to start something, and you're not really sure how to go about that. But also, once you kind of set it up, you're thinking, I need to have this, I need to have office equipment, I need to set up an office, that sort of thing, and all the pitfalls that might come with it. Or maybe you're just looking to downscale, or you're looking to upscale.
Yeah.
Either way, the people we're talking today, they can assist you with that.
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And this is really exciting. So it is really that extra little push you need, but more importantly, you hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Horse's mouth, definitely.
So that is what the show is all about today. So I remind you again, @Nickay Productions on YouTube and Facebook, that is where you will find it. So without further ado, let's introduce you to today's guest on a Mahala Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the company is called Nova Office Automation, and joining us, really just an amazing company from Nova Office Automation, is Lorne Waskansky. Lorne, good morning. How are you doing? Thank you very much for joining us on Mahala Monday. Greetings.
Good morning, folks. No, it's good to be here. Good morning. Good morning.
Absolutely wonderful to have you along with us today, man. And thank you very much for making time with us. So just in the beginning, Rhoda and I am actually just talking, people that might be thinking they want to start a business. You think office supplies and, just setting up an office. It can be a bit of a daunting task. Now, just moving that one side, quickly, tell us about Nova. What is Nova Office Automation?
Sure. How much time do I have, guys? Okay. Right. Nova Office, an office automation company. So a company that specializes in everything the office requires, from your photocopiers to your printers, to your telephony, connectivity, CCTV, in fact, right up to your biometrics, so your access control, time and attendance, and even now the office automation companies are looking into things like generators and UPSs, especially with the load shedding happening. And quite a large departure would be solar power, in fact. So these are all things that office automation companies can supply the market. All right. In terms of Nova Office has been going around since, started in fact since 2007. So fairly, not a total new kid on the block, but definitely a company with some groundwork, but also new in terms of the innovation we supply the market. So we listen to the market. We don't dictate to the market what a company requires. It's more of a consultative process where we would assess the client, assess their requirements, both today, tomorrow, and going forward, and then supply a solution based on that. In terms of Nova, we have a geographical footprint that services the nation.
Okay.
Right? It's not just we're a Cape Town-based company, but in terms of our geographic spread, we're quite unique. I actually speak to the director or the owner of Nova on this. We're quite unique in that of about the 3,000 machines, photocopiers we have in the market, about 70% of those are not in Cape Town.
What?
It's actually quite a bizarre scenario in that we have some very large key clients that have a nationwide spread. So they may have a head office in Cape Town, but most of their business is done in Gauteng or in KwaZulu-Natal. So it's actually we're quite unique that way. But a feather in Nova's cap is that we're actually servicing those clients and servicing them. Those clients I'm speaking of have been clients of Nova's for close on a decade now. So they really are entrenched with us and have become part of the family. So in terms of clients, I mean, anyone from the small office, home office, to the one-man show, right up to the mega corporation with many thousands of employees.
Sure.
We can service you all. So we bat in the A League here. So it's actually
brilliant.
That's a nice way of putting it. So since 2007, Nova Office Automation, or as it's called, or for short, just Nova Office, have been doing anything. But there's something that you just said that I quite like and I find intriguing, that it has really been a development phase, because as you said, from the small business or just the person working from home to like the mega, and it is really assessing the needs, assessing what is needed, what the company would want, or your client in this instance, and sort of also looking at the way forward and giving advice. And I think that is just critical.
Well, it's the office automation industry is highly focused on service. I mean, where else do you get there? I mean, another example. If I want a plumber to come and see me, I'm going to have to pay him to come and see me. Even if he can't fix my problem, there would be a quote rejection fee potentially. So, I mean, our industry, we go out and see the client free of charge. We'll assess the situation. We'll compile the proposal. We'll go back to the client. We'll chat to the end users, see what their needs, wants, and desires are. So it's not just about what head of procurement wants or the IT guy wants. It's very important to chat to the end user, see what that particular debtor's clerk requires out of a machine, as an example, what she likes about her old one, what she doesn't. And then we need to service that client for anywhere up to 5 years. So, that representative or that account manager forms a relationship for up to 5 years with the client. So it's I mean, some marriages don't last that long. So, I mean,
That's a good one.
I mean, you need to know who your service provider is going to be, and you have to feel comfortable with them, and vice versa. So, it's a massive service-orientated industry and very collaborative. And those clients and those customers who allow the salesman or the sales lady to engage with them, all right. So, and allow that consultative process to unfold. Those are the clients that typically stay with the provider for a very long time, because their needs, wants, and desires are met. Their expectations are ticked off and met. So there's no gray areas or anything funny that might sneak through the works. So, if you have the opportunity to see an office automation representative, please do so. It is in your interest to do so. I know sales guys can get annoying, but like I say, you are forming a potentially 5-year relationship with them or with your supplier. So it's well worth the extra half an hour here or there. You end up meeting some interesting people. So it's actually kind of...
I'm loving all of this. This is absolutely brilliant. And you know what? If you're watching this right now, this is where you get it in. But we've got a comment. Thank you very much. Hubert Paul says, watching. Morning, sir. He says, good morning. As always, a great show. I like this mentality. If you don't listen to your customers, somebody else will. And that is a cardinal. And that is so pivotal. And that is exactly what you're saying, Lorne.
Yep. You have to. I mean... Again, the equipment that's on offer from an office automation company it's quite expensive. I mean, when I first started and I saw the pricings of an A3 color copier, I almost resigned because I didn't know I didn't know if anyone would spend that kind of money for such a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
This is the crux of how small business needs assistance from suppliers.
Yeah.
Because equipment can become quite pricey,
yeah.
and we need to assist where we can. So there are different finance models or different models on how a client or customer can obtain this equipment. New business or a new company starting out, it's very challenging for them to arrange finance or to get that equipment. So there are different models available. And Nova Office, we do assist. I mean, so a quick small story. I met a client at Nova in and around when I started, probably about 3 months after I started. This gentleman that was just starting out his business, he needed a photocopier. No one would help him. We helped him. 4 years later down the line, he now has 3 photocopiers from us, a telephone system. We're managing his data. He's taking on some access control biometrics. And he actually phoned me on Friday evening to thank me for all the assistance we've offered him over the years when no one else would help him. And this has grown with us. He's now employing close on up to 40 staff members.
Wow.
Right, so this is a gentleman that we helped helped when he needed help, and he's massively appreciative of that help. So in terms of nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit, we at Nova Office can and are duly positioned well to do that for the markets. And also remember, back in 2007, Nova was the business starting out.
So you know what it's like.
We know exactly the trials and tribulations that entrepreneurs face.
Definitely.
We're very sensitive to that fact. And we like to nurture the business spirit and see how companies grow with us. It's very important and it's very rewarding as well. So for a sale, it's great to get a sale. It's nice to do business, but it's nice to do business with people for a period of time. And when you walk into the office, it's nice to be greeted with a big smile, a cup of coffee, and a biscuit. You know, so
that's good. So we need to remember that one.
It's very rewarding to walk a path with a client or with a customer for a period of time and see how they grow, see how they metamorphosize into a bigger company, and it's a very rewarding experience.
It's a relationship,
I like what you said, because I know Rhoda wants to ask you about products, because we're really going to get into the nitty and gritty of it. But there's 2 things I just want to, from what you've said, 2 observations, if I may. So firstly, a lot of businesses that start out, they look at like, and then you mentioned photocopiers, for instance. They look at, I need this and a photocopier and a whatever office equipment it is. And all of a sudden, that sometimes becomes a hurdle, becomes a deterrent if you just starting out, because you're looking at like, well, how am I going to do that? And then you just leave your idea altogether. And let's be honest, when you came up with the idea as a potential business owner or an entrepreneur, it's a brilliant idea. That's why you got the idea. And you got to the point of, I want to implement this, right? But then we get these challenges. And exactly to what you say is, and I like what you're saying, because people who want to start out is like, don't be scared. You call Nova. That's what you got to do. And I like that. I really like that, because that is what we need. That is what we need. We need businesses. And especially, like you said, since 2007, you were the new kids. You started out. You know what it's like. But also, it's a tailor-made service, because I might just want certain office equipment, but I've got no idea. I know what I'm doing, but you will tell me, no, you just need this, or you just need that. You can do this and this. You know what I mean? And this is it. So definitely call them. That's what I want to say. I know you, sorry. Rhoda.
Yeah, no, not a problem. Dougal's loving this topic right now. And you know what, Lorne, it is challenges out there. And I know you mentioned all these products at the beginning of the show when you had introduced us to Nova. And I just wanted to kind of ask you as well, just listening to you, you know, that we do find at the moment that a lot of companies have downscaled, and a lot of their staff are working from home, obviously with the lockdown, being told work from home. If you can work from home, go work from home. The challenges for me that my business is now telling me to go home and set myself up, are these challenges you can assist with as well, obviously, because I've never worked from home. Now I'm faced with having to work from home and have my office set up at home. How do you go about doing this?
It's been a paradigm shift from the supplier side and from the company or for the market side. The economy had to adjust. They had to send people home.
Yeah.
I mean, they just had to. So it's more of a decentralized model. There is a bit of legacy still in terms of having the big copiers at the main company, but that's whittling down. If you've got some pertinent staff members that can't have any downtime and they have to work and they have to be up and running, then they need a machine. They need a copier at home.
Yeah.
They need a telephone at home. They need connectivity at home. So the businesses had to adjust significantly to provide these ancillary services to their staff members. And in doing so, there's just been a rejig of how their solution has been restructured. So yes, a smaller copier, maybe not a massive or old school telephone system on the wall, PABX as it was known.
Oh yeah.
Now using things of apps on a staff member's cell phone, where that app interacts with the phone that utilizes the company's telephone system at the office.
Wow.
So their cell phone acts as an extension of that telephone system.
Wow.
Technology has definitely pivoted, or is definitely at the point where the technology is at that stage where the technology can actually help the client. We just need to have that consultative process with the organization to set up the correct solution for this decentralized business model that we now find ourselves in involved in.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is
thrown deep in. Yeah.
Yes, Lauren, you were saying?
Yeah, so there's definitely been a downscale in terms of the size of equipment. So instead of having a massive photocopier or 3 or 4 of them, you might have 10 small copiers geographically off-site at the individual's homes, with the telephones as well. Very cost effective. So don't think of this as an increase in costs. It could reach cost parity in terms of having the big machine at the office, but more than likely you would actually see a cost pressures coming down. So as the market readjusts, COVID will peter out, and we will adjust the new normal of post-COVID living.
It's been a challenge.
And you know what? I find this exceptionally interesting, because this is really an industry, and especially with your business. Talk about roll with the punches and coming up with new and innovative ways, and especially assistance, and especially delivering that personal touch, because each business's needs is going to be different. We know this.
Yeah.
And you speak of a consultation process, which is absolutely cardinal. And the thing is, because you know what the needs are, I like, because I really get the sense before the business would speak to you, you already there with like, listen, here's keep this in the back of the mind. I like that. I really, really like that. So there's a couple of comments here. Hubert, thank you very much. Hubert says the way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. The golden rule for any business is to put yourself in your customer's place. And that is exactly to what you speak to. So Hubert has just summarized that. He's got some more backup comments there, which we will do there as well. He's very insightful today on this Hubert. He's very insightful. He says ideas are easy, but implementation is hard.
Every salesman, and especially I think in today's market, needs to be sincere to the customer and authentic. So it's not just about, okay, this is what I think you should have, or anything like that. It's what does the client need, and what will the client need in a couple of months to a year to 2 years' time? Will this device, or will this solution evolve, and does it have the capacity to evolve with the client's needs, instead of the client having to purchase or rent a new system every year or every second year? So something that can satisfy a need now and then grow with that clients accordingly. So that consultative process is important. Be sincere as a salesman and be authentic to the client. And as the gentleman Hubert's mentioned, put the client first and put yourself in the client's shoes, because it's that entrepreneur and it's that client that has to deal with business on a day-to-day basis. And office automation is only one factor of what it is to run a business, and especially as an entrepreneur. So there's lots of other things. There's marketing, there's advertising, there's dealing with government. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So If you find a supplier that takes care of the office automation side of things, then you can focus your attention on others. So we're in business together with business.
There we go.
Walk that path together. Yeah.
Yeah, Lorne, just on that and my experience, and I'm wanting to bring in my experience as well, and having to started up my business as well. And I dealt with, I won't mention the company's name, quite a big company. And what a bad experience, because it really ended up being just...
I want to know who they are now.
just business. Drop the printer, bam, there, sorted out. There was no relationship. And what's coming across to me with Nova is the fact that, you know what? You are listening to your clients. It's a relationship you're building. We're talking about 5 years relationships, having to build that. And for me, that is vital in a business, and especially starting off a business and being a small business. You want somebody to listen to you, not plonk a massive printer there and say, yeah, pay your monies every month, and once the machine is done, it's your problem. The thing is too old and it breaks by the time you've done paying for it. I'm loving what you are offering your clients. Thank you so much for that.
And
I think
yes.
Sorry, man. I think it stems from the fact that we are fairly young, in that we know the growing pains of businesses. So in that sense, we do put ourselves in the client's shoes almost every time, because our success, our client's success is our success. So if we help a client to be a better company, then we become a better company. So we become a stronger company. So it's a collaborative effort.
And you know what? I was just going to tell you that, and there you've said it. Your client's success is your success, and you use the word collaboration, because that is exactly it. That is the crux of it. Because I think, especially if somebody wants to start a business, they've got no idea. If I had to start something today, I've got no idea what my office needs are going to be today, let alone a year from now. But also, when you have that consultative process, let's say, for instance, somebody just gets a photocopier from you in the beginning, and you kind of know the business that they're going to do is business X. So they say, look, we need a photocopier. You go, yes, you definitely need one. This is a photocopier. But because this is what you do, you can already say, listen, we also might have to look at something this way, which your possible client has never even thought of. Now, 3 months down the line, the client goes, yeah, you were right, we do need this, so can we talk about it? And the client will also say, but I also need this, because as you walk the road, your horizons expand constantly, and this is what you are saying. It is a constant evolvement, and I don't want people to be fearful if they're just working from a spare bedroom. If they're setting up a spare bedroom to be a new business, don't be fearful, because this is what you got to do.
If that spare bedroom is their office, then that's their office. That's their command central. That's where they do business. So I mean, that's where the action happens. So if their spare bedroom is ground zero, then that's their office. So
beautiful.
That's what they need. Technology in general, and this is something that the clients might be a bit scared of, because technology is changing so often. It can be quite daunting. And you end up hearing, stompies and tidbits of things in the market about what's the best solution. And the client sometimes has part of the story, but not all the story. And again, when you speak to your representative over and over again, certain mistruths will be belayed, and certain aspects of a solution that work will be reiterated. So be careful of technology scaring you. So again, it's technology, because it changes so often, and because it's literally going from one pillar to another. You've got to interact with your salesman. It's very important, because he will dispel all the myths and half things like that, and really get to the nitty-gritty of what will work for you. So that's very important.
Just on what you've said there, because there's a comment from Hubert. I must say, Hubert is going for the Olympic gold today. He's on fire, man. If ever somebody got silver, gold, and bronze, this is it.
You took all of them.
He's got a comment specifically on what you've just said with change, and it's been there for a while. Okay, you have not seen this. Let me just let me just check out this comment for you, because it speaks to exactly to what you have just said. And I'm like thinking, this Hubert has got a crystal ball. I don't know how he's doing this.
The last comment there of his,
You must take his details down. I need to go and see him.
Yeah, and there it is. Look at this. He says, we shouldn't be changing because of COVID only. And any challenge, like you said. Businesses need to remember, when you are finished changing, you're finished. If you can't adapt, that's tickets, baby. That's it.
So true.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean,
thank you very much.
That's a very, very true statement. And this COVID pandemic has taught business just how important it is to be flexible to adapt when a situation arises. So the COVID pandemic took everyone by surprise, and certain companies weren't leveraged or weren't yet enough to deal with it. So, I mean, everyone knows about some of the large organizations, both locally and worldwide, that had a terrible time, and if not, have closed down.
Yeah. And you know, tourism industry, the restaurant industry. So it's been challenging. So you have to be able to adapt and look for these key risks in the market as to when change is happening. I want to ask you the following, Lorne, because your target market now, because we've kind of established this is kind of everybody. And obviously with the advent of COVID, this would have, now it really, we know it's everybody, I suppose, as an assumption that would be. But if you had to like sort of just say, okay, a target market, I mean, we're talking really from little people to big people. Personally, I mean, I'm just going to talk personally now. I like the small guys because you get intimately involved with them. The big companies it's great to have them as a client, and they teach you a lot, and you have to up your game in dealing with them, dealing with IT, dealing with procurement. It's very interesting. But in terms of a rewarding sales process, very nice to look at the small guy and see how they grow. It's just very enjoyable. It's rewarding, and in a very tough career, being in sales, always good to have that reward in terms of something other than the sale.
And I like that. Yeah, and I think especially for you also talking about Nova and where you guys started in 2007, the fact that, you know what, you're taking the small business, you don't know what they're going to be in the next 5 years.
Correct.
So, you know, and so this I think is exactly what you are here basically telling us, you know, that's why you love the small guys, because as our changes. The journey changes. You'll never know, and this is what I'm very passionate about, is entrepreneurs, the small businesses, because if we support them and we give them information they want, especially with Nova having to assist our small businesses, our foundation is being laid, Dougal and Lorne, to basically uplift our country. Am I correct?
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, the small business is the economic driver of any country, in any society for that matter. So a big company is great. They employ lots of people. Supply chains and all the knock-on effects of that, which is great. But the small business owner supports his family, you know, directly. You know, there's no salary component. If they have a terrible month, then there's going to be knock-on effects to that. If they have a great month, then there's going to be knock-on effects to that. So it's very critical for the economy to nurture the small business spirit to get back on track. It's absolutely critical to the survival of industry, you know, as a stock standard. Yes,
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
I like that because it really speaks to how Nova offers is very different, and you know, and I like if I may just phrase it this way, take by the hand approach. Let's learn together, let's collaborate, because that is really what the essence is of this. Now, let me push you a little bit here, and person starting out, having a business from home, or whether they've had a business for a gazillion years and then they use you, the pitfalls in the industry that clients must be on the lookout for. Are there any? I would assume there's lots.
Lots. This is why I keep stressing that you must see your salesman. It's very important. Okay, so pitfalls. The office automation industry has had a bit of a bad rap over the years. There have been some overzealous salesmen, overzealous companies where they don't explain everything to the clients, and there's certain expectations, and those expectations ultimately don't get met. So please, if you go on a rental, it's good to ask questions. Please, again, technology is scary, but please ask questions. No question is silly. No question is, every question is important. So if you're a client and you want to know what's going on, please don't be embarrassed ever about asking questions. You have to know what you're getting yourself into, especially if it's on a rental, because that's for a period of time. So anywhere up to 5 years. So you need to know just what's going on. You know, if you want to read the back of agreements and read all the small prints, please do so. Please ask questions. You know, nothing is unanswerable. It's all there for a reason. And also, don't be fooled by glitzy marketing campaigns that you might see online. Some solutions will work for you, some won't. They're very particular. So you might see something advertised that looks like it's the right thing for you, but it might not be. It might be an overkill, it might be an underkill, it might not be stable. So you have to chat to your account manager or your sales rep. It's absolutely critical in obtaining the correct solution for now and going forward.
That is so true.
I like that.
Yeah. And I think, you know, Lorne, one of the biggest problem is everybody obviously is Googlers. Google is their doctor, Google is their accountant, their nurse, and they kind of think that they can get all the solutions there. And I think this is where it gets overwhelming because of the fact that I'm also a Googler here and there, but not for my doctor. I have to go to the doctor. But obviously this is exactly also one of the problems you're sitting with. And this is where I also believe that you need to speak to an expert, which is like Nova,
Correct.
where you've got your consultant that's going to tell you, no. What you saw on Google, obviously, that's not going to work for you. Am I correct?
Correct, yes. I would even say something like this, that if a company sees a sales representative, do some research on who or what company he's representing, how long have they been around, what's the feel for them, maybe get a reference or two, see how long that particular account manager has been working for that company. You do get a lot that fit from one to the other. There is a reason for that. So please be aware if a salesman chops and changes companies every, say, 6 months to a year, it's he might be a bit reckless or gets himself into a bit of trouble that he's not necessarily being the most sincere sales rep. So please look at your consultants. I mean, if you want to invest your money at an investment company, you are going to do some due diligence on that company, and then you also get a feel for that individual who's representing that company. So, is that partnership? Do you like the feel of what that company is, what the company represents? Do you like how that company's been represented to you? And what's been put on the table. Another pitfall is that I've also seen this, is that you go and see a company and there's 5, 10, 15 different quotes on the table for one photocopier. Now that in itself is very confusing. So if you are looking for a proposal or a quote, maybe get 3 or 4 and then pick one of those. Don't overly confuse yourself with 10, 20 different types of quotes on the table. You're gonna see a lot of sales guys, but you're gonna end up confusing yourself to no end, because everyone will approach the situation from a slightly different angle, and you're gonna confuse yourself. So get a feel for the company you're seeing, get a feel for the sales rep that you're seeing, and limit the quotes that you obtain to a handful. Don't see every single company, because you're just gonna confuse yourself. So pick and choose, and use your gut feeling as to where you want to go with a provider.
Yeah, I like the whole thing that you're saying in terms of the gut feel. I've been saying it the whole show now. I like that. I like all of it, man. I really like all of it.
I like you too.
We've got a comment, and this just echoes that specific sentiment as well. So Celia Santa Shoebox got a comment that says, great show, nice to know where one can go to for advice and product choice, which is brilliant, and that comes from Angela. Angela, thank you so much for watching. Yes, it is absolutely brilliant to know that there is this company that Nova Office will really, really take you through. Now, I must just go back to earlier. We were joking and saying, but what is the contact details? We're going to blah, blah, blah. And then he did that as a joke. And he also says, a question for your guest. With regards to printers, can printers be held? And then, let's just get it up there again. Sorry, I'm a slow reader. Question for the guest. With regards to printers, can printers be held liable to legal prosecution for printing and publishing false fax images to the party prosecuting? Asking for a friend. Don't lie, you're asking for yourself.
Yeah, I don't like this Hubert character.
We're stripping off his medals. So looking at all of that, I mean, we're touching on pitfalls, and especially from that startup perspective as well, as Rhoda alluded to as well, for entrepreneurs. And that would be the same for headwinds, because those are the challenges. Now, obviously, with the advent of COVID, the challenges are completely different as to pre-COVID.
Yeah. Okay. So for a company like Nova, the headwinds are as follows. The paradigm shift in the market from a centralized to a decentralized office. So we've had to adjust to that in terms of having the correct stock, being able to get to those clients in a timelessly fashion. So there's that disconnect, or that decentralized approach that's coming online now. In addition to that, the headwinds are that print, or the volume of printing. Just to touch on that specifically, before COVID, it was declining as the paperless office starts to take effect. That in itself is a little bit of a fallacy, as there is more and more content available to print. Personally, I'm very old school. I like to print everything. So I won't file things on my desktop within files, within folders, within folders. I literally will print it out. So I'm the best client for an office automation company. But yes, there is definitely a move towards more paperless. And we have seen print decline between 15 to 30%, depending on industry. So as an office automation company, we've had to adjust to that. And so too has everyone had to as well. The reason for the diversion into other services is because of that. So the office automation companies are now looking at telephones and connectivity, and your access controls, and especially CCTV. There's a lot of uptick and traction of that in the market. So we had to adjust our services away from print only and or print and phones only to a variety of ancillary services to pick up from where print has taken a bit of a decline. So it's quite interesting in that we've had to learn a lot of new product suites, and that's been quite interesting for the salesman, in that we actually, it's not just about learning what the new photocopier is about, it's about learning what the new photocopier, what the new data, what the new telephones, what the new CCTV, what the new access control, et cetera, is happening. So we've had to learn a lot in a very short space of time and become proficient in all these product suites. So it's been quite a challenge from a salesman's perspective as well. So we've had to upskill ourselves considerably, and so too has the market, because as technology is changing, there's a lot more technology available for the office as well. So it's not just your copier and your telephones. There's software as well. I mean, we can go on and on. So if you're a law firm, you might want to digitally archive your documents. Instead of sending it offsite to a warehouse, you want to have those documents available online when you need it immediately. That takes away from the print and takes away from the paper, but it adds a digital service in terms of what's called document management, archiving and retrieval. So it's been quite chaotic for the market to go through this change, and also for all this technology to come online, and then for the companies to supply this technology in a responsible way to the market. So it's been quite a learning curve for everyone, and COVID has just accelerated the learning curve. It's accelerated and it's accelerated business to a new normal of a more decentralized approach to doing business.
Yeah. I like that. I like that how you've met the challenges, because it definitely speaks to the fact that you're game changers. But let me ask you a Dougal question, and by that I mean like a really weird question. So, without revealing anybody, so clearly you grow with the client, you develop with whoever you supply with office equipment and solutions for them to operate optimally. But have you, because I would imagine people, like you said, I mean, when it comes to helping people with fiber, let's say office furniture, print, photocopying, telephone lines, all of these things, CCTV, access into the building, all these things you normally supply. Without naming anybody, what is like one of the weirdest things you've ever had to supply? Do you have anything? Like, I mean, let me give you an example. I've got an office, you know, and all of a sudden, I want a half pipe for skateboarding. Could you do that?
Yes, on a 5-year rental. In terms of that, yes. Okay, so some of the weird things, I suppose, would be things that a copier salesman wouldn't sell. So your coffee machines, your bar fridges.
Okay.
Even like little work files. So, I mean, I've given a school a bunch of work files for the teachers so that they look professional when they come in to teach the kids. So, furniture as well. So, we've done quite a bit of furniture for clients as well. So, when they don't spend literally tens and tens and tens of thousands of rands on office furniture, we put it on a rental for the client, so he can now budget accordingly for his furniture instead of a massive cash outlay out of his business at one time. So it's more of an installment sale as opposed to, you know, buying a house, you know, without a bond kind of thing. So it's allowing clients to take advantage of these ancillary services. But yeah, I'm quite meat and potatoes in terms of my supply to clients. It's literally what they need. But there have been a few little funny things here and there. I did send someone away, or not away, on when the helicopter rides were still going in Cape Town, the Huey ride. So
yeah.
We got them a staff trip for their staff on the helicopter. That was quite
cool.
That's cool.
As a thank you for choosing Nova. Yeah, so that was quite
cool.
Good.
So you do building half pipes. I'm just checking. Proof in the pudding, baby.
It's okay. We'll do it.
So, Lord, I heard by a little birdie, and that you guys are so busy with social responsibility, you know, and this really for me is excellent, because you know what, it basically for us as Mahala as well as the social responsibility, it is an entrepreneurship. Give us some examples of, you know, what you have done. You know, I'm loving this. Besides the fact that now we find out about the chopper ride.
You just need to take a copy from me, Rhoda, then it's fine. Then we get to
we need to talk.
All right. So in terms of social responsibility, one aspect of who we support, which is very synergistic with who we are, would be Arbor Day. So because paper comes from trees, you know, it is an evil where, you know, I like trees, so we support Arbor Day. It's very important. We also support schools, disadvantaged schools. I mean, the kids at these schools are the new entrepreneurs coming up in the next 5 years. So, I mean, they need an education, they need their material, and they need to be schooled and educated just like everyone else. So, the disadvantaged schools, we like to gain traction across that. Business against crime is also something we sort of support quite significantly because of, you know, the uptick in crime and general crime that's happening within South Africa. And that crime is an offshoot of the economic conditions that the country faces. So, you know, we can uplift a community and help a school and help a learner in a school to become a potential entrepreneur, then that person will employ people, which will then create a knock-on effect of growing the economy. So Arbor Day, Business Against Crime, a number of disadvantaged schools. And something we're gaining traction on, or that we've actually just decided to join now, would be the Muizenberg beach huts and St. James. And they've gone through a little bit of a degradation of late. And because I'm a summer boy and I like being on the beach, we decided to partner with Save the Beach Huts. It's a very worthy cause. It's colorful, just like our logo. It has a nice, happy feel to it. And it's part of Cape Town's heritage. And a worthy cause nonetheless. So yes, we certainly do give back to the community and the market,
No, you certainly do, and those causes that you've highlighted, and like you said, you are also busy with lots of schools. I like that, because all of those speaks to sustainability. It speaks to growth. It speaks to heritage. And if I can just use the beach huts one as an example there, and it is really aligned with the values that Nova offers hold. So, and I think this is just absolutely outstanding. Before we wrap up, I actually just want to touch on one of Hubert's comments. And today, Hubert has been on fire, I must say. Fireman Hubert. No, he's not a fireman. And I know I'm going to get comments like, we need somebody to come. He's not a fire. I call him fireman because he's on fire. He was a medalist earlier in the show, but then he was asking on behalf of friends. So, Hubert says there on Facebook, he says, always remember the golden rule for any business is to put yourself in your customer's place. Now, that is it.
I mean, nothing truer could be said. I mean, that's the cardinal rule of being a good supplier to a client. If you don't put yourself in the client's shoes, you won't understand their needs, wants, and desires, their pain points, their reason for being in business. So you put yourself in the client's shoes, know what their pressures are and know what their goals are, and then partner with them and supply with them a solution that will assist going forward to make them a better, more stronger organization. It's critical.
And this has basically been the essence of the show. Now just listen to this one here. I like what he has said today, which is you, Lorne. We need to thank our customers for complaining and mean it. Most will never bother to complain. They'll just walk away. And when you complain is where you have the growth. You want to have the challenges together, because this is what you do. You welcoming challenges. And sometimes we see that as a hindrance. We see that as you don't have the energy to wake up in the morning. But this is what it is. This is it. I mean, just the collaborating, man, that's all good.
Well, I mean, one thing I say to clients is that please complain. Where can I improve, or where can we improve? So I even get quite upset with a client if they don't complain, because if you don't, it can't always be 100% all the time. So, and every person and every company can be a better person and a better company to who they serve. So please complain, because every supplier can get a bit laxy and lackadaisy and what have you. So complain, please. Make us stand up and look at what you need and where we might be falling short, or where your current supplier might be falling short. So please complain. It makes me a better salesman. It makes me a better consultant. It makes the company I represent a better, more involved company, and it will make you, the client, have a better solution. So voice your opinions at all times. That's part of this consultative process. You have to communicate with your supplier. It's been critical.
Absolutely love that. Lorne Waskansky, you know what, I want to say this to you. Thank you very much for your insights, because it is absolutely amazing hearing a supplier saying that to you, watching this as a possible client. It is cardinal here.
The story of no news is good news is not right for the sales process. You have to have news, whether it's good news or bad news. You have to talk. There has to be that mutual engagement.
So there has to be that. Any final thoughts from you, sir? And I would say that to you because also you might have a question for Rhoda.
No, for Dougal.
All I want to say is, guys, if you need a photocopier, printer, telephone system, data, CCTV, access control, generator, think Nova Office. www.novaoffice.co.za.
Oh, yes.
It is that simple. I'm certainly thinking that right now. Yeah.
That simple. That simple. And then you get to meet me in person, which is great.
Oh yes.
Absolutely wonderful. Lord Washansky, listen, thank you so
Lovely.
much. Thank you for your
Thank you,
insight.
folks. Thanks for having me on. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done.
Absolutely wonderful. But what can I say?
Thank you.
You know what, Rhoda? Lorne touched on a lot of things
A
that
lot.
I personally, and I know you, we feel strongly about.
Oh yes.
So
definitely.
here is really a company that is all of a sudden. Let's forget COVID quickly. They help you set up your office, so whether you're working from home, startup, whatever. They supply you with the goods you need, and when I say goods, like, you know, the equipment, the printers,
Oh,
the
yes.
copiers, these things. All of a sudden, COVID comes. We all know what it was like.
It was like a world.
You know what I mean?
Spun us all out of control.
We all know what it's like. And there they are,
There.
right? Now and there's no longer new normal and yesterday normal.
no,
I mean,
no.
you know, let's
This
be
is-
honest now. So there they are. And more importantly, they really, and this is the sense I got from him. So on that consultative process, these are your needs. They go, okay, cool, we see your needs. This is where you want to be. Okay, cool, here's a little something. Have a look at this. But as you grow, your needs are going to change.
Change.
And you have this
Technology changes.
Exactly. And you have that integration. Now you've got a market leader in your back pocket
Oh, yeah.
giving you advice. So you that just starting out the business, these are things you weren't even aware
Way
of.
off.
So it is very simple. www.novaoffice.co.za.
CO.za. Go to the professionals.
Yeah. I mean, this is absolutely brilliant. So whether you're starting out or you scaling down or,
Yeah.
you know,
Having to work from home.
this is absolutely perfect. And I must say, I like something he said earlier. He said, you know what, this is the important bit. Instead of you going spend a lot of money on something, there's a rental option because now you
Oh,
get to hang on to
yes.
capital.
Yeah.
You know, I like that.
There's no reason to make that big hole in your pocket
Yeah.
just because you're wanting this flashy office equipment. You know, do a rental and you can pay it basically a smaller portion instead of putting a massive hole in your pocket.
Yeah, and also a very reputable company.
Oh,
Love the
yes.
essence that they do. Exceptionally socially responsible. So they got amazing CSI,
Oh,
SED programs
yes.
running where they are involved, and noticeably so. So the only thing, I'm going to have to watch the show now 5 times. No, this is a problem. This is a problem when you have a good show.
And you have a
I'm
good
going to have
show.
to watch it 5 times.
And everybody out there needs to watch it as well.
Yeah,
Because
and
this is really the answer to, I think, a lot of people out there. They're sitting with a problem, having to work from home. You don't have the technology necessarily because a lot of us are not that way inclined. I would say, especially of our older generation, that's sitting at home, having to work from home now. I mean, having to learn all this technology and what's happening. Why put all that stress on you? You need to do your job. Get the professionals in to do with technology for you.
It's exactly that simple. You know, before we go quickly, Jabbar Kasim Muhammad, thank you for watching. This is an absolutely good show. She says, I must let the dev get involved in a future with us as
future.
well.
Most
And this is
definitely.
exactly what it is
Definitely.
about. So really appreciate that comment. Along the line of comments, thank you so much for that really insightful comments and absolutely brilliant perceptions that were shared as well. Must be said, I give everybody a medal. Yeah.
Especially
That is it.
Hubert.
Yeah, Hubert, you're on fire. My
was on fire
goodness.
today.
Whatever he has for breakfast, I want that.
Yes.
But Rhoda, that wraps it up
That's
for me.
That
I mean,
wraps it up, yeah.
there's nothing else we can say except for this is definitely something. These are one of those shows, like all of them.
Yeah.
You definitely archive. You keep it in the back pocket.
Definitely.
And I must say, Lorne's insightfulness and his willingness to share is beyond compare. And that is what we do at Mahala Monday. So we can
true.
only thank you for that.
That's so true.
And I want to say thank you, Rhoda.
For?
I'm just saying thank you.
Oh, okay.
New leaf.
Thank you, Dougal.
It's not going to last. That was our episode for today, Mahala Monday. Thank you very much to our special guest from Nova Office Automation, Lorne Washansky, for joining us. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for all your comments and watching this. And like Rhoda always said, you got to like and share it.
Share.
And then we'll see you next time.
Bye.
From us, bye.